And what you have to think about is the juice worth the squeeze? Darren one time automated this thing and he took a week doing it, and bless the man's heart. I said, thank you so much. And it was something to help me, but it was something I did every 6 months for 30 seconds. And I'm like, the juice not worth the squeeze. Like, let's focus our time and energy on good things like that could be helping. So I think that's what ImmyBot's trying to do, is we're trying to really like minimize that time that people have to spend on all of this, right?
I love that saying, is it worth the juice?
Yeah, some things just aren't.
Yeah, well, we do a lot like that in our consulting, because everyone's always got a million things to fix.
Oh, 100%.
But which is the number one thing that's going to make the biggest difference? Scalable, the podcast for driving growth in your MSP, delivered by industry experts. Welcome back to the Scalable podcast. We're here in sunny Florida, and I'm joined today with Tara from ImmyBot. Hi, Tara.
Hello.
So, Tara, for those who don't know you, I don't think anybody must sit in that pot, but in case they don't know you,
Yeah.
who is Tara? What's your journey look like?
Who is Tara? I am the sparkly human that is I got a new title. Chief Community and Ecosystem Officer at ImmyBot. So I have a background in an MSP though.
Is that just to get as many words as possible?
Yeah, literally, because I couldn't be Chief Ecosystems Officer because then I'm CEO and that gets confusing for people. So it's Chief Community and Ecosystems Officer.
Nice.
Yeah, but I got a big fancy title recently. But yeah, I do all the community stuff because we don't have a sales team. So we're community-driven growth. So I'm part of the community. I've been in it along the community, whatever that means, right? Yeah. All the MSPs, all the vendors, I kind of manage all the relationships, and I'm a sparkly fun human. So I'm the one that gets to go have fun with everybody.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's why we're on a rooftop right now.
Yeah. No one thought they were going to be sparkling ImmyBot.
So it's funny, I say that when Brett and Darren put me in my role, I don't think they realized our brand was going to be sparkles and glitter, and it just kind of happened.
Yeah, and pink.
And everybody loves the pink though.
Yeah.
That's actually why we make the pink t-shirts, is boys, like men and their sons and stuff, would go to these events and they'd be like, how do we get your pink shirt? I was like, I'll make you a pink shirt if you want a pink shirt. Stands out against the blacks and the blues and all of that. But yeah,
and you're known for your hats as well.
And I'm known for my hats. Yeah, those started actually, not a lot of people actually know the history of the hat. They think it's like a marketing gimmick, and it's not, right? So it started because I ran our MSP, Immense Networks, out of Baton Rouge, the one that spun off ImmyBot. And basically I would go to these events, and I've been told I need to stop saying this, but I'm not overly technical, right? And I was at them with like a ton of technical people, and I felt like no one would talk to me and no one really like would seek me out or anything. And so I always felt like I didn't fit in. And so I started going to events as a vendor and a sponsor, and I started wearing the sequin hats because I'm now the most approachable human probably, because I wanted someone to see me and kind of include me, right? Because it is a community. Yeah. And I just always felt kind of like an outsider, and I don't want anyone to feel that way. So I started wearing the sparkly hats, and I wore them once, and then Reese from Halo saw me at another event and was like, you don't have your sparkle hat on. And I was like, oh, I guess I should just keep doing this. But it kind of disarms people. They'll walk up and talk to me about that, or what. I mean, you can't be mad in sparkles either. Like, I'm probably the happiest person in the room.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
You're definitely not the quietest, that's for sure.
I'm not. It's funny though, if you had met me 8 or 10 years ago, I was the quietest in the room. Right. I wasn't talking to anybody because I was uncomfortable. I've just kind of, I don't know, I felt like I kept trying to fit into a box of like seeing all these other people who were super professional and like putting on airs and whatever. And I started going to peer groups, and I was like, oh no, they're all like just normal humans kind of figuring out life too, right? Yeah. So got a little more comfortable with myself, and I'm here.
Yeah. And then you was in an MSP,
yeah.
Then you moved to the dark side.
Dark side.
What did you do in the MSP? Why did?
So I started at the MSP actually as an admin assistant to Brett and Darren. So I was their executive assistant, kind of doing all the housekeeping, like office manager stuff. And then we were a break-fix shop at that point. So I learned ConnectWise. I basically told them they needed to let me do the invoicing. I was like, this is like a mess for you guys to do every month, and it's a waste of your time. Like, let me learn all this stuff. And we all kind of learned how to do MSPing together. So we transitioned, all of the agreements and the billing model. And I just kind of grew through there. And I always thought for a while that I was doing things wrong because I kept moving positions. And Brett, one of our founders, was like, no, I want you to have every role in the company at some point because I never want somebody that works for you to say, you don't know how to do my job. He's like, because you do. You've done all of them because I built all the roles. So I'm technically like probably a tier 2, tier 3 technician. Like I've been in the trenches, like putting computers together. And so I ended up as COO of the company. So I went all the way up the little ladder. We all grew up together, and they transitioned me over to Immy because we had launched Immy, and Darren came to me one day and I was waiting for it. I was like sitting there like, I'm not going to push things on this man. Like I'd worked with him for so long. And he's like, I think I need you on this side. I was like, I knew this was going to happen. Like, this is my evil genius plan.
So why did you move? Because obviously you'd learned a lot in MSP role, you knew every role. So
I had.
Why move?
So there was a burnout, a lot of it, in all honesty. And I started going to therapy. I'm very transparent about that now. And my therapist asked me one day, she's like, so are you exhausted at the end of every day? And I was like, yeah, I am. Why? She goes, you put on a mask and you are doing things that aren't your comfort zone. You do not want to be leading people, like managing their timesheets. You don't want to be managing them in that way. You want to be leading the strategy. You want to be, I'm not a visionary per se, but I don't want to be in like the day-to-day crap of it all, I guess. Like the kicking people to do their job. Like that's not my leadership style. And I was kind of over it. And we talked, Brett, Darren, and myself, the two founders, and they were like, the next role for you, like the next logical one is CEO. And Darren and I, we went and got breakfast. We had like a 3-hour conversation, just the two of us. And he's like, I think you'd be bored in a week. I said, honestly, I'd be bored in like 37 minutes. I was like, but I can do it. Like I already know how to do it. But that's when he proposed to Immy. And he's like, I think you could help more people over here. Just because of my history with being in the MSP and having built all the roles. He's like, you can take what you've done and teach other people how to do it. And that's what I like doing. Yeah. I found out I loved it, actually.
And you can be authentic with the conversations because you know their pains, you know what they're doing.
Well, and we still have the MSP, right? Yeah. So I still coach some of the people in our MSP. I until recently, actually still had an office in there, and I went in there every day when I was at home because they could just shut the door and ask me questions. Like I was just a knowledge center of, I have this idea, I don't know. And personalities are hard. Like that's the most difficult part probably of any company, I would say, is you're managing the personalities and the expectations of each of those personalities. So, you know, you put a really technical person in a leadership role and maybe they're a little abrasive and you have to kind of coach up the leadership skills of, okay, we got to meet people where they are not you. So
change your expectations.
Yeah. So I had an executive coach for years and he kept saying, Tara, I need you to stop thinking people are you. They are not you. So you have to meet them where they are and set the expectation and the boundaries and let them perform and don't swoop. That was one of the biggest things.
So you talked about you moved because of burnout. What do people, I'm sure there's a lot of people listening to this thinking, I'm burnt out.
Yeah, or maybe they don't know. Because a lot of us, what we found is like in high performers, burnout looks so different. And so nobody really knew I was burnt out until my therapist mentioned it to me, because I kept pushing through and I was just doing everything.
And you thought it was normal?
I thought it was normal. This is what my life had become. And then I started, actually the first conference we ever did with Immy was IT Nation Connect, it was a few years ago, 20 something. And basically Brett and Darren signed up for it. They're not going to plan it. Like that's not what they do. They're devs. So I was like, I'll do it. And then I found out I loved it and I attended and I got to have all these conversations that I was having in peer groups and all of these other places with 5 times the amount of MSPs. And it was just, it all fell kind of into place. And Darren told me, he's like, as good as you are at operations and like doing the managing of the people and the leadership of people and like the MSP, he goes, I think this is actually where you're supposed to be. He's like, because the amount of people you're helping, like the amount of LinkedIn messages where people are like, I watch your videos, I have a job at this company because you interacted with them, I'd never heard of them. He's like, you're just helping people organically, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I get a lot out of it now. I'm much less burnt out, having a lot of fun.
And you don't have to push that help because that's just a natural thing that you do.
Yeah.
So did you do any profiling to work out what you do, how you do it?
What do you mean?
Like Working Geniuses or anything
or
like
Disc
that?
or any of that. Yeah, so I'm a big fan of the Working Genius because I think Disc can be overly complicated. And I suggest anyone does it. Like, we actually do it now when we onboard people or like before we hire them, not as something that's going to weed them out, but I want to know where their brain is and how it kind of works and how we can work with them better, right? And so what we actually found out is our leadership team, Brett, Darren, and myself, we all have different geniuses. So that's why we work well together. Like, Darren is a straight visionary. So his is wonder and innovation. So he is very curious about the world, but he can figure out what to make. And mine is discernment. So he'll bring me all the ideas and I'm like, this might not be a good idea because.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see through all the stuff. And galvanizing is my least favorite one, which is basically the managing and I don't want to say micromanaging, but some of it can be micromanaging of people. And I'm just like, this is just not for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what do you think a healthy MSP looks like? When you think about the people and structure?
I think a healthy MSP is built on a lot of trust, I would say. And that's what we found with using like the 6 Working Geniuses is we all are very different. Like, the people with tenacity and enablement are awesome at working with my visionary, right? Because they're going to take his ideas and get it through to the completion. But from there, I mean, our staff averages like 8 to 10 years. They don't leave us. So there's just a lot of natural trust on the team. Our senior leadership team between Brett, Darren, myself, our high-level devs, I mean, I've been with them almost 14 years, and our highest level devs have been with them 14 years. The next one has been 12. Like, we all have known each other and kind of grown up together. So I think it's a healthy balance of trust in building a space where we can give feedback honestly and not have anyone get mad. Because I hate when people say, we're like a family. I've seen people be very mean to their families, right?
Yeah.
So I like to say it's like working with your best friends, because who do you want the best for in your life? It's the person sitting next to you that's your best friend, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I feel it should be. Have
Yeah.
good times with them.
Yeah, but then be honest with it as
Be
well.
honest with them.
Yeah.
And I think, so that's one thing I do with like Brett or Darren. If we need to have a very like big heart to heart, we don't go to the office. Like, we don't sit in a conference room. We go get a beer or we go get a coffee and we just talk like friends.
Yeah.
And it can be business or personal related, but it's that comfort level of knowing this person wants the best for you, even when they push back on you. And that's probably why they're pushing back on you on something.
Yeah. I think with that, it's always about communicating why I'm doing it. Reason why I'm being awkward, or the reason why I'm saying this is because I want this better for you.
And it's really funny. I used to be kind of quiet in some of our meetings, and Darren started picking up on it. And he's like, you have a lot of thoughts going through your head right now. What do you want to say that you're not saying? And I was like, okay, well, here. So he started noticing my cues, because I want to hear what everyone else has to say, usually before, as talkative as I am at these things. If I'm in a room like that and we're making big decisions, let's think about every possible outcome, good, bad, ugly. Let's try to talk ourselves out of whatever we want to do. Why wouldn't we want to do this? Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, that's a good leader as well. That's a good skill to let everyone else talk first, because otherwise they if you make a decision, they just follow you.
Well, and that's the thing, and this is something that I've had to explain to like all of our staff on both sides of the company. Just because we're the leader doesn't mean we actually have the answer. It means that we're willing to try. Like, my answer might not be right, but we're gonna try it and see, and I'm not gonna have all the answers. Like, if you have an answer, bring it to me and let's see if it's the right one. You get to leadership because, I mean, for us, it's just been, we've all built our skill sets and we've been there a long time and we're good with people. Like, that's what happened. It doesn't mean we magically had the answers forever. We've had some really bad answers.
Yeah.
And Darren's favorite thing, it drives me up the freaking wall, is he is my boss, love the man, but his favorite thing to say is, I like giving the wrong answer so someone gives the right one. And I'm like, you just give me a headache though, because then I like go on a 10-minute tirade about why you're wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. My wife's good at that. That's reverse psychology.
I know. I'm like, oh.
You talk yourself into it.
I'm like, you know that this is wrong. Why are you even doing that?
Yeah. Before you watch the rest of this video, if you've been enjoying the content, it'd mean a lot to me if you subscribe to the channel. Surprisingly, the majority of the people watching haven't subscribed yet, even though everything we release is completely free. Subscribing really helps support the channel and lets us know these conversations are worth continuing. Now let's dive back in. So now you're on the vendor side.
Yeah.
Totally different life. You must see people, like I see people consuming tools just for fun. Like, you know, it's almost like, how many tools can I subscribe today? So
shiny objects. They love it. Well, they shouldn't. I'll start there. I mean, it's so funny because we are a vendor in our space, but you have to have a competent team because a tool is something you use to enhance what you have, your staff. How do you make them better? How do you make them more efficient? It doesn't mean getting every tool, and we have shiny objects too. Like, we love it. We give somebody the, you know, if we need to, the runway to test it and see, but they have to, I think the big thing was, and this was one of my, when I was running our MSP, this was like the moment I was so proud of one of my engineers. We were sitting in a meeting and it was our leadership team for the MSP. And basically one of the guys didn't like the process we had for doing something. And he pushed back on it and he said, I want to try this. And I was like, I'll let you, but we're not going to upheaval. Like, I didn't say anything, like in my brain, I'm like, we're going to just let it like pan out. Right. And I didn't want to shoot it down immediately. And one of the guys sitting at the table, senior engineer, he's been with us now probably almost 12 years. He goes, why are we doing this again? What are we improving? Or do you just not like how we do things? And I was like, oh my gosh, you get it. Like, we don't want to change things just to change them. So that's become a kind of a rule. Like, if you can bring something to us and justify why it's an improvement on the way we're doing something, great. Then we'll check it out, we'll run with it maybe. But you have to be able to justify it. And because we've all done this. We've gone to events, we've gone to peer groups, we've come back with so-and-so's using this thing and it is the silver bullet. It is not, it is never the silver bullet. I would love to say ImmyBot is the silver bullet for everybody, but the reality is a lot of the tools, you get out what you put in, and a lot of people don't fully implement tools.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the big thing I see. People don't work out what success is going to look like, so then they don't have a plan. So they don't implement it.
100%. And people are really unrealistic with their time, right? So I think that's part of the problem with running an MSP and trying to do some of these things. I refused to do a PSA migration for 3 years because we had done a few other migrations, and I was like, I know the lift that is. Like, it is not for us, because we wanted to clean everything up before moving. I was like, this is not a 2-week month lift. This is much larger because we've been on our PSA for 20 years. I'm like, so there's probably a lot of stale data, and we always underestimate what will take a long time, and we overestimate what we can do in a short time.
I just think people just don't plan. People don't work out what is good going to look like when we've done this. You know, so do you track that in your platform? Do you track like adoption or time spent or?
So we're starting to, because it's important, right? And it depends on what you want to do with it, because that's what everyone says. They're like, oh, like, how long does it take to use ImmyBot? I was like, well, base level, I can go click a button, use ImmyBot. Like, it's, you know, I showed my husband at one time. I was like, I need to do an ad hoc deployment for myself. And I showed him, I typed in the thing I needed, I clicked deploy, and it was done. And he's like, that was it? I was like, that was it. I was like, so it's completely dependent on what you want to do. But if you want to go deeper, I mean, it's going to take longer to deploy, right? But you are intentional about it, and you have to be, I usually tell people to make sure that they know the process ahead of time for how they set up new workstations and things like that, right? Because if you automate something, I don't think all automation is made equally, right? That's just working with all developers for a very long time. Yeah. It's not all created equally. And what you have to think about is the juice worth the squeeze? Darren one time automated like this thing, and he took a week doing it, and bless the man's heart. I said, thank you so much. And it was something to help me, but it was something I did every 6 months for 30 seconds. And I'm like, the juice not worth the squeeze. Like, let's focus our time and energy on good things like that could be helping. So I think that's what ImmyBot's trying to do, is we're trying to really like minimize that time that people have to spend on all of this, right?
I love that saying, is it worth the juice?
Yeah. And some things just aren't. Yeah. And we actually,
we do a lot like in our consulting, because everyone's always got a million things to fix.
Oh, 100%.
But which is the number one thing that's going to make the biggest difference?
Well, and you have to, so I'm a really big fan of doing, I think it's called the Eisenhower Matrix. So I don't know if you've ever looked at this. I use it for a lot of things in my life, and you basically plot things based on importance and like how many people are affected. Urgency. It basically, you plot them, and it's like, oh, if this is going to be a heavy lift and it's not going to be that important, like we're just not going to do it, like, or it's going to have to go like way in the backlog.
Yeah.
Like you want a high urgency, high importance, and you want them to be kind of quick wins, and you want to like, you know, get them out of the way.
I think a lot of business owners have got that problem, including myself, because there's so much stuff coming to you constantly.
Yeah.
So it's then like, okay, so all I'm doing, I'm only ever doing the thing that hits me now, rather than doing the important thing.
Well, and I think that's a really interesting thing, because in an MSP, we always are saying, oh, we're going to be proactive and blah, blah, blah. How many MSPs are actually super proactive, right? There's still so much reactionary work in them. And it's hard to get out of that mindset, because you are constantly having fires come at you. Something's going to come up, something's going to break, Azure's going to go down. Like, it's life. Like, so, and I think that's part of the adoption of products. That's the problem, right? Because you get this idea that it is this thing that's going to solve your life, and you go, I'm going to get it and I'm going to implement it. And then, you know, you're actually doing your normal job and having to like, you know, manage tickets and boards. And,
Somebody's gone off sick and somebody's done this.
Oh, yeah.
So you mentioned at the very beginning that your title, which I can't remember, but let's call it head of community.
There you go.
But you've no sales.
What?
You've no sales.
No, we don't have a sales team.
And not in MSP world neither.
No, we do now have a sales guy in the MSP, but that's recent. He's business development. I can't tell you anything really about what he does. He's never reported to me. Like, he's very new, but they seem to like him. But no, it kind of came naturally, because we are product growth first, like product led. And so we've always put most of our money into product. And so it's always developers, and sales just kind of came naturally. Like, I hate to say it that way, but you know, when people saw us on Reddit, or they see us at peer groups and somebody in their group is using us and they want to show them what's happening, and it just kind of happened. It was very organic, and it feels good, and it's part of what we do. And I think it's why our reputation's pretty good, I think, in the industry, is we don't do long-term contracts unless people ask for them to lock in pricing or whatever, because we'd rather work with people that want to work with us, instead of locking them into a contract and then having them yell on Reddit about how much they hate us, or we did a renewal and didn't tell them, or whatever. So they can break it at any time. And I think it's just, we've seen a lot of people do things wrong, I think is it, or things that didn't feel right by other people. And so we're trying to do the opposite almost.
Yeah. And then so if you don't have salespeople, there's no commission drive in or anything like that?
Nope. We're actually not even building a sales department. We talked about what departments to build out this year, and we're doing account management before we're doing anything else, because we want to make sure it's to build what's successful ImmyBot client look like. How do we make sure the MSP is as successful as humanly possible? Because the reality is they're going to stick around then, and our churn is insanely low, but we'd like to keep it that way and just make sure we're providing what we can for people. And we're constantly developing too, so we're not stagnant on the product. So some of the AI stuff we're doing is super cool, and I'm like really pumped about all of this.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to your owner yesterday, and I had to stop him and say, this feels like a YouTube conversation on ×4.
Yeah.
Like, can we just slow down a little bit so I can understand where this is going? Because my brain cannot work that fast.
I know, his brain is insane. We call him the Energizer Bunny. Mine doesn't work that fast either. I'm always like, okay, can you explain that like in my terms? And he's like, okay, great. So he'll like come back. But he's so excited about some of this stuff. And we've had a lot of debates internally about AI, right? Because everybody's been kind of rolling out AI. We are now AI, blah, blah, blah. And some of it is just like re-screening or refacing like ChatGPT or whatever. And I told him, I said, if we're gonna build AI into ImmyBot, I said, we have to actually improve something. What are we improving? And so the first few ideas he came back with, like me and his business partner, we were like, not quite there yet. And then the most recent one he's come back with that I'm not gonna like get into the details on, but it's really cool. And like seeing what it can do for MSPs is insane. And our goal is always to free up people to do different work, right? The stuff that AI and automation should be doing is the repetitive and the, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And it's going to be a dramatic change in the MSP world.
Yeah.
Do you think ImmyBot and your MSP is going to dramatically change from AI?
I think Immy itself is going to be pretty consistent. I think the way people use Immy within their MSP is going to change. with the AI stuff we're bringing in. And we're pretty, I mean, you know, we build MCP servers and all that stuff, so we're pretty, and I'll say, they're good. They're really good. Like, I've never looked at anyone else's, but I'm very impressed by what these boys have done. But like, we've always been doing things like this though, right? Like when I was running the MSP, we've been asking people for their APIs for 10 years. We wouldn't work with you unless we had an API. So we've always kind of been on the forefront of some of this stuff. And we always thought we were super far behind. And it's like, oh, actually, no, we're not. We're like doing kind of cool things. Like we're trying to be innovative. But either way, our goals are never going to change with any of this, right? It's always to make people more efficient, better, and how can we free them up? Because if you look at Brett, Darren, and myself, all of us are, I don't want to say living our dream, but we have found where we fit, and that's what I want to help other people do. So like, nobody wants to maintain scripts all, I mean, maybe they do want to maintain scripts all day long. I don't know, but like, do you really want to be rebuilding images in SCCM constantly? Probably not. Like, it's kind of a headache. So I think things are going to change, but I think we keep hearing that people are worried that AI is going to take their jobs. I think it's like with anything else that's happened, like think about the Industrial Revolution or anything like that, your role is going to pivot. So you either need to get with it and figure it out, or you're going to get left behind.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. What do you think of the notion of, because of AI and cloud, etc.,
yeah,
you can go and build your own applications? Do you think people are just constantly building these applications?
So yeah, people come to me all the time. I had a whole conversation the other night with somebody about an application they built, and they wanted my opinion on if they thought it was sellable. And I said, I do think it's sellable. I said, I think it's an interesting concept. I said, however, what everybody forgets when they're just spinning up these applications is it's really easy to get something to work one time. It's really difficult to get it to work repeatedly, consistently. Right?
So that's what your owner said to me yesterday.
Yeah, he and I have had this conversation as well.
He said his ideas are amazing. He gets them to work once.
Yep.
And then he gets the dev team to make them work repeatedly.
Yep. I mean, Immy is when we originally built Immy, some people don't know this, we wouldn't give him our dev team. He had to bring to Brett and myself a working ImmyBot. And so it was messy code. It was not good. And he got it to work, but then he put it on all my workstations at our MSP, and I made him rip it off some of them because I was like, he could get it to work once. And then it was like, oh, well, it worked for that client. And I was like, it didn't work for that client. Please take it off.
Yeah.
So no, that's what our devs are there for. And that's the thing I think people forget is it's the maintaining and support that are going to become your problem.
Yeah.
Because you can't just write it once and leave it. Like that's not.
And keeping innovating as well, because you've got to keep ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to be one of your tasks, isn't it? How do you keep ahead of, in ImmyBot, how do you keep ahead of people that are trying to build the same thing? You know, they're trying to do something themselves.
I mean, I think a lot of it comes down to listening to who's using ImmyBot, because we are so, I mean, we have our own thoughts and ideas on what Immy should be, right? But we have built this community around Immy that loves it. And they give us so many ideas. So, and we're implementing them, and we're taking and they're like,
because they're on the front line.
They are the front line for us. And there's some people who have done, you know, they've sent us their scripts, and they're like, my script's better than yours for this, please. And like, we'll check it. We'll have the devs check it, and then we'll put it in the global. And it's just seeing all these people come together, and it's like they all want to help each other. It is just, that's what we do. I think if I said there's like a secret sauce to Immy, it's we actually listen to our clients. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of companies in our space, I mean, I've worked with a lot of them who have advisory boards and have forums, and you can put in all your stuff, and no one's ever going to look at it.
Just a box ticking.
It's just, and so we started like community calls, and we're starting them in Australia here soon, because people just, we're showing them the new shiny thing that we're thinking about building for Immy, or even something as basic as role-based access control. Like, would you guys use this? How would you use it? This is what we're thinking. Like, we'll show them the UX, and then they can give us opinions on it. We've got some really awesome testers, but we're building this inner crew that are just seeing the stuff and them helping each other on like the MSP Geek chats. It's awesome. It's so good. And they're helping us innovate, right? Because they're telling us what they want. And they don't have the time to build it, right? If they don't even have time to implement new tools, you think they can go sit here and build something completely? Maybe with AI they can, but then they have to maintain it. So it's like...
yeah. But even with AI, you still got to spend time in it.
You do.
You've got to ask it questions.
Yeah. You have to prompt it correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we talked about what good looks like.
Yeah.
Would you say there's any like key metrics that people talk about or they struggle with in their MSPs?
Oh my gosh, yeah, there's tons. I mean, I see MSPs that still aren't doing real-time time entry, and I think they're insane. I usually am like, what are you doing? How can you? And the amount of MSPs I talk to who don't know their gross margin, or they think they know it, and then I have to explain to them, no, actually, and I start moving the things because I've consulted.
Numbers are in the wrong place, labor's below the line.
Yeah, yes, oh my goodness. And it is just, it is shocking to me. And I'm like, no, your gross margin's actually this. And we look at it and they're like, that can't be right. I'm like, I promise you it's right. And just some of these conversations are so interesting to have. And there's so many people who don't even look at any of it. And so I'm like, how do you make you're not making a well-informed decision. Yeah. How do you know who to hire next? How do you know what you can afford?
Yeah, I speak to a lot of owners that they don't have any checks and compliance on their finance person. They just leave it to the finance. That's a finance job. That's not my job. Well, no. As a shareholder and director, that is your job.
Yes, it is. It is, and I think it's something we did in our MSP, and I think it's really important. Is I needed the people that I built up, the directors, to all understand how finance worked. Some of them didn't like finance, but I was like, I need you to understand base level what gross margin is. I need you to understand for your department how you can affect the gross margin and what you can do to change it, right? And so a lot of that was with ImmyBot efficiency, right? On our projects department, we need to be more efficient. And so we saw when we implemented Immy ourselves before bringing it to market, we saw our hours go down substantially on projects. And it's like, okay, it's working. So this is, and then, snowballs, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I talk about it all the time. You need to know your numbers.
You do.
Your numbers are so critical. You can't just be firefighting constantly. No. You need to know why. Why is this different? It is actually one of my favorite,
this is going to sound so nerdy because I'm like the community girl, right? But one of my favorite things to do is break down someone's P&L and just tear it apart. I'm like, here, let me look at it, please. And they'll send it to me. And I'm like, all right, so I need you to move this here. This should be here. It's really fun for me. Yeah. I'm like a secret nerd.
Yeah. But people don't spend the time to learn this stuff. Like they don't know how to read a P&L or a balance sheet, and they don't know whether things are going in the right places. They've got no checks and balance. Like they don't spend time on that, because typically they're a tech.
And that's how our owners are. They're both super technical, and so their highest best use of time, right, isn't necessarily the finance stuff, but they understand it enough to go, okay, this looks weird. Like, what's wrong here, right? You don't ever want to think someone's embezzling, but I have had friends in the industry whose finance people have embezzled from them.
I've had the same,
Yeah, even though they had, all the processes in the world, they didn't have the check happening, and they found it slowly, and it was like it's been a slow leak.
Yeah, I mean, nothing should be able to leave the business as a payment without two people signing off on it.
Yeah.
And it's got to be, there's the bill, there's the payment. Do they match?
Yeah, they should match, right? So, I don't know. It's interesting, and I mean, Brett, he'll tear apart a P&L, but I'll never forget sitting in a peer group one time, and somebody had said, they told Brett and Darren, I was in the room with them, this is a principals group, that someone was stealing from them. Someone who was doing the finance stuff. And I said, I did the finance stuff and I can promise you I'm not stealing from them. And so I sat in that room and I was like, something wasn't lined up. And I literally started pulling up all of my receipts because it was project based. And I went, oh, I got what it is. Like an hour later, I had dug in. I said, we quoted a project here. We build it here. The hardware hit here. I said the hardware hit in a different quarter. We should have put those in the same quarter. That's it. And I found it very quickly, but I was like, I guarantee you I'm embezzling from my bosses. And I'm a little insulted.
To summarize this then, I think my key takeaway is actually finding out where you enjoy to work. It makes such a big difference when you enjoy your work.
Yeah.
And that is a massive thing when people talk about burnout. And I think when you enjoy your work, it makes such a big difference.
I think you have to enjoy at least 70% of your work. If it's the opposite, you're going to get burnt out. For me, I think my biggest takeaway is don't just change things to change them. Make informed decisions about them and make sure you're actually improving something before you implement a new tool, a new process, or anything like that. Like, you have to understand why and what you want it to look like. What does good look like, right? So. And is the juice worth the squeeze on the automation? Yeah, is the juice worth
I'm definitely going to remember the juice worth the squeeze. Thank you for listening and watching. Thank you for being on, Tara. It's been amazing.
It's been so fun, honestly. I'm really excited.
And if you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to the YouTube channel.
definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel.